There is an apartment in Osaka where you can open every closet, every cabinet, every drawer, and not one of them will surprise you with a smell. Not the shoe cabinet by the door, not the fridge, not the laundry basket. Nothing announces itself before you see it. The woman who lives there has never once reached for a scented candle to fix a room that smelled wrong. She has never bought a plug-in air freshener. And her home does not smell like anything artificial at all. It just smells like nothing. Which, if you think about it, is the actual goal every single time you spray something into the air. Somewhere else right now, someone is standing in front of an open fridge, wrinkling their nose, reaching for a can of aerosol spray to blast over a smell that will be back again by tomorrow morning. They will do this forever because spraying a smell is not the same thing as removing one. It just adds a second smell on top of the first and calls that a solution. What if the difference between these two homes has almost nothing to do with how often you clean and everything to do with 11 specific habits that treat the actual cause of a smell instead of the smell itself? By the end of this video, you will know all 11. And trick number 7 uses something most people have never heard of, a substance made from unripe persimmons that traditional Japanese deodorant makers have used for generations because of how precisely it locks onto odor molecules. Stay with me because tricks 2 and 3 will show you exactly when to reach for baking soda and when to reach for charcoal, 2 things sitting in most kitchens right now that almost nobody actually knows how to tell apart. Before we get into the 11, it's worth understanding why these methods work at all, because most odor advice you've been given is built on a misunderstanding. A bad smell is not something you cover up. It is a chemical signal that something in the room is acidic, or alkaline, or damp, or actively growing bacteria. Every method on this list works because it targets that specific chemistry. Not because it smells nice. Let's go through all 11. The first is your living room, or really any room in the house where the air just sits and goes stale. Most people crack one window and call it ventilation, but a single window barely moves the air at all. Here's the actual move. Open 2 points on opposite sides of the room, ideally on a diagonal, a window and the door across from it, or 2 windows in opposite corners. The farther apart those 2 openings are, the stronger the current running between them. 10 to 15 minutes a day, once in the morning, is enough to noticeably clear cooking smells and stale air out of a living room or bedroom. If a room only has 1 window, open the door too, put a fan in the doorway, and point it outward, out of the room, not into it, so you're pushing stale air toward an exit instead of just stirring it in place. The second is your kitchen counter, specifically a fresh, concentrated, acidic smell you want gone fast. A stained trash bin, a sour cutting board, a bin full of food waste. This is baking soda's job, and the reason it works matters. It's mildly alkaline, and it neutralizes acidic smells, sweat, body oil, sour kitchen odors through a direct chemical reaction the moment it touches them. That means it has to physically contact the source, it works fast, and it gets used up, which is why you replace it every 1 to 2 months. Just remember, it does almost nothing for alkaline smells, so don't expect it to fix a bathroom. The third is your closet, a completely different kind of smell problem, slow, low-level, building up quietly in an enclosed space over weeks, rather than hitting you all at once. This is charcoal's job instead. Buy a few chunks of Binchotan white charcoal, no wrapping needed, and just set them loose in the space. 1 gram of this charcoal has a surface area close to an entire tennis court, riddled with microscopic pores. And unlike baking soda, it doesn't react chemically with anything. It just slowly pulls odor molecules out of the surrounding air over time. That makes it perfect for a sealed space you don't want to think about for months. But it can't be sprinkled onto a surface or dropped into something wet the way baking soda can. Every month or so, set the chunks out in direct sunlight for a few hours. The heat drives out what they've absorbed and resets them, so the same piece keeps working indefinitely instead of getting thrown away. And here's the actual rule between these two. Fresh, concentrated, acidic smell at the source, use baking soda. Slow, ongoing, low-level smell in an enclosed space, use charcoal. In a sealed space with a genuinely acidic smell, like a fridge, you can honestly use either or both. The fourth is your air conditioner, and this one isn't about baking soda or charcoal at all. It's about a switch you already own. That sour, moldy smell when you turn it on is mold growing inside on the cold coil, because condensation builds up there every time you run the cooling mode and just sits damp in the dark. After you're done using the AC, don't just switch it off. Run it in fan-only mode for about 2 hours first. No cooling, just airflow, so the internal moisture actually dries out instead of feeding mold overnight. And during months you're not using the unit at all, run that same fan-only mode for at least an hour, once a month, so dust and moisture don't build up in an idle machine either. The fifth is any piece of clothing that still smells even after it's been washed and fully dried. Specifically what actually causes that damp, musty smell to linger in the fabric, and the fix is not more sunlight. It's a bacteria called Moraxella that lives on skin and gets trapped deep in the fibers, then reactivates the moment that fabric gets damp again, even from your own sweat, even days after it seemed completely clean. Sunlight alone won't reliably kill it. What does work is heat. Soak the smelly items in water around 60 degrees Celsius, that's hot tap water, not boiling, with a scoop of oxygen-based bleach powder stirred in, for about 30 minutes before you wash them normally. That temperature is what actually suppresses the bacteria embedded in the fabric instead of just drying around it. The sixth is your shoe cabinet, the one that hits you with a wall of smell every time you open the door. Lay a full sheet of newspaper flat on each shelf, replacing it every couple of weeks. The paper fiber pulls moisture straight out of the air before it turns into a breeding ground, and the carbon in the ink itself adds a small odor-absorbing boost on top of that. And every night, don't put your shoes straight back in the cabinet. Leave them out at the entryway overnight so the sweat from the day actually dries before you seal them back in tomorrow morning. The seventh is your shoes themselves, not the cabinet they sit in, the actual sweat smell trapped inside them. And the first tool here is one you already know. Baking soda, packed into an old sock or a breathable bag, tucked into each shoe and left overnight, up to 24 hours for a stronger smell. It works exactly the way it did in your kitchen, neutralizing the acidic sweat directly through contact, and it costs you nothing you don't already own. If you want a step beyond that, there's the one I mentioned at the start. Kaki shibu, a tannin extracted from unripe persimmons, comes in soap, spray, and insole form at most Japanese drugstores and import shops. A light mist directly onto your shoe insoles before bed targets the exact odor molecules other products only mask, since the tannin structure chemically bonds to them and converts them into something else entirely, rather than just absorbing them the way baking soda does. The eighth is your kitchen trash. And the fix is 2 small habit changes, not a product. Wash your vegetables before you peel them, not after, so the raw peel waste never gets wet on its way into the bin. And in hot weather, keep a small bag in your freezer specifically for food scraps between collection days. Scraps that never get warm and wet never start rotting in the first place, so nothing has the chance to smell. The ninth is your refrigerator, a sealed space. So this is charcoal's job again if you want the low-maintenance option. But baking soda works well here too, since fridge odor is usually acidic. Here's the exact setup either way. 2 tablespoons of baking soda in a tea bag, dropped into a small open jar, sitting on a middle shelf, replaced every 2 months. If you want a second layer, save your used tea leaves after your next pot, let them cool completely, and place them loose in a breathable bag on a lower shelf. The catechins left in the leaves are still antibacterial even after brewing, and the lower shelf is reportedly where they work best. The 10th is your bathroom, and this is where you stop reaching for baking soda entirely. Mix 1 teaspoon of citric acid into about 200 milliliters of water in a spray bottle and spray it directly onto the base of the toilet, the floor around it, and anywhere urine residue tends to land. Let it sit 5 minutes, then wipe. Toilet odor is alkaline, the opposite chemistry of sweat or kitchen smells, so citric acid, the acidic opposite, breaks it down at the source instead of just covering it. Make a fresh batch every couple of weeks since it doesn't keep long. The 11th is your pillow and bedding, specifically the ones that soak up sweat and body oil every single night and rarely get treated for it. Once a week, take your pillow or futon outside and air it in direct sunlight, about 1 hour per side if it's sunny, since the UV has a real bactericidal effect on top of just drying out trapped moisture. For a pillow that can't be washed, sprinkle it lightly and evenly with baking soda, let it sit for 1 to 2 hours, then brush or vacuum the powder off completely. If it's a memory foam or feather pillow, skip direct sun and let it air out in a shaded, well-ventilated spot instead, since UV can actually damage those materials over time, even as it helps with smell on other fabrics. The woman in that apartment in Osaka never learned 11 separate tricks as a list. She learned that every smell has a specific chemical cause, and she matched a specific fix to it, room by room, until it stopped being a decision and just became how she lived. Tonight, pick the one room in your home that smells the most off to you, and go fix the actual cause of it using whatever's above instead of reaching for whatever's scented. If this changed how you think about even one room in your home, send it to someone who's tried candle after candle and still can't figure out why nothing actually works.